With the release of version 16.50, PLS-CADD now has a new feature called Slip and Clip. The use of this feature requires finite element cable analysis, so you will need to have a license of the SAPS program in order to use this feature. What Slip and Clip allows you to do is make incremental changes to wire lengths and spans very quickly and efficiently. This makes the process of certain finite element modifications much easier and faster compared to the previous methods. To begin, let's take a look at the classic demo.xyz example project that ships with the software. We'll start by going into the sections table and using the command to apply column to clip all of the insulators in. This will calculate and lock in a fixed length of wire for every span in the tension sections you use this command on. This action will also automatically promote all sag tension calculations and display conditions to use finite element. Now that everything is clipped and locked in place, we can look at making modifications to the fixed length of wire for various tasks. Before we do that though, let's take a look at the fixed lengths table for an individual section by using the sections modify command. Note that these two columns represent the length of wire unstressed at 0 degrees Celsius. The column on the right for the length change simply serves as a means to track changes to the overall total length. When PLS-CADD performs sag tension calculations, it uses the addition of these two columns. So for example, say a span had 500 feet of cable, we could enter 500 feet in the length column and 0 in the change length column, or we could enter 499 feet in the length column and 1 foot in the change column, or we could enter 1 foot in the length column and 499 feet in the change column. All three scenarios would produce the exact same results because the total length of wire in the span remains the same, 500 feet. If you're working on an existing line that you've already performed finite element graphical sagging on, then it's very likely that you'll have some values populated in this length change column. What we recommend doing before making changes with the slip and clip feature is to merge any of these cable length adjustments into the main cable length column so that you have a blank slate and can more easily track the changes you're making with slip and clip. It is also a good idea to create a copy of your line design beforehand by going to Lines Edit. After you create a copy of your as-built line model, you can navigate to Sections table and use the command to apply column to merge the adjusted cable lengths to make a clean slate for using slip and clip. Let's now take a look at a couple of examples of where and how we can use this slip and clip command. Take for example this tangent structure number 9. Let's imagine that we found a clearance violation in the adjacent spans, and rather than raising the structures or replacing them, we will swap out the insulator hardware and convert it to a floating dead end. This is where you can remove the long suspension insulator and replace it with a very short suspension insulator, typically like a shackle or some other small piece of hardware, to effectively raise the wire up a bit. Then, in order to maintain adequate electrical clearance, we chain two dead end strain insulators off the end of the shackle and connect the wire to them instead of the shackle. When we swap out our structure 9 for a modified version with the change in the insulator arrangement, we need to use the swap attachments command since we now have a unique strain insulator for the ahead and back spans. And while using this command, we need to watch closely the status bar at the bottom of the screen to make sure we select the correct wire and insulator. After this, we can see that the wire sags much lower than they did earlier. And that's because we clipped the insulators and locked the wire lengths, but effectively introduced more cable into the spans because of the length of the strain insulators. We'll need to reduce the wire length in the adjacent spans to account for the strain insulators, and this is what the slip and clip command will help with. Before we activate the slip and clip command though, we'll first want to disable the chained insulator feature so that the small suspension insulator is removed and doesn't move around while making cable length adjustments. Afterwards, when everything is equalized, we can switch this back on and we'll see that it remains plumb. Now let's activate the slip and clip command by going to Sections Slip and Clip, and then click on a section. If the sections aren't clipped in, you'll see a warning message offering you to clip the sections in and continue with using the command. Once the command is activated, you'll see that the dialog is partitioned into a couple of sections. This section here is the primary portion that allows you to manipulate the cable lengths for the selected span. The slip operations here allow you to slip wire from one span to another. You can slip wire from the selected span out to the ahead span or the back span. or you can slip wire into the span from the ahead or back span. When using the slip commands though, the total length of wire from dead end to dead end remains the same. Contrary to the remove and add commands here, we'll cut or splice wire into the span, which effectively changes the total length of wire from dead end to dead end. Here you can change how much of a length adjustment you'd like to make. You can pick a larger adjustment to quickly and roughly get close to the desired result, and then switch to a finer adjustment to sneak up closely and exactly to the result you're after. As you make changes, you'll see the numerical values tabulated in this section here. And you also have buttons that will clear any adjustments you make or merge the length changes in with the main length. Below, you have the option to jump back and forth across spans, and you can select this option to have the view automatically scroll to keep the selected span in the center of the screen. And this button here you can click to get a text report of all the adjustments made and each span's length prior to and after the adjustments. And lastly, you have a button here to apply the changes you made. If you don't click this button and exit the dialog, all adjustments that were made by the slip and clip operation will be lost. The goal for this particular scenario is to remove wire length from the adjacent spans to return the wire tensions to the same as they were before we changed the insulator configuration. The easiest way to do this though is to enable labeling options that will show us in real time what the tensions are for each span. So to do that, we navigate to Sections, SAP's Label Options, and we can turn on imbalance in horizontal tension so we can make sure it's as close to 0 as possible at the tangent structure. And since this structure 9 is adjacent to a dead-end structure, we'll also have to enable the catenary constant so we can see what the headspan tension is to structure 10 and make sure that it matches what we have at structure 8. We'll also want to change our currently displayed condition to reflect a typical scenario for when this structure will actually be modified in the field. So we can navigate to Sections Display Options and choose something like a typical 60-degree bare no wind condition, and we'll choose Creep FE for the cable condition since it's an existing line. Next, we will generate an additional 3D view and orientate them side by side that we can see simultaneously structure 8 and structure 9. Now we can use the slip and clip command, and we'll start with the backspan. We'll change the adjustment value to 0.1 feet, and we'll start removing wire from the current span. And as we do this, we can see the tension imbalance at structure 8 start to go down and the insulator start becoming plumb. And then we can lower the adjustment increment and fine tune it until we get right up to 0 pounds of imbalance or very close to it. Now we hit the apply and close the dialog, and we can do the same thing for the headspan. This time though, we can't look at the imbalance at the adjacent structure because it's a dead end. So instead, we will try and match the catenary constant to the catenary constant at structure 8. And then we click Apply and Close. And we're almost done. All we need to do now is switch the chained insulator option back on so that the small suspension insulator acting as the shackle gets added back in. And now you can see it's hanging nice and plumb, and the cable lengths are adjusted in the spans accordingly so that the tensions match closely to what they used to be. And now the conductor has been effectively raised to avoid the hypothetical clearance issue. Another interesting way to use the slip and clip command is to slip wire between spans without modifying structures at all as a means to fix a clearance problem. Let's take the same demo.xyz project again, and let's say we have a very small clearance violation in the span between structure 8 and 9. And let's also hypothetically say that the clearance violation is to a building or some other object that would be a significant burden to move or remove. How then would we remedy this clearance violation without modifying or replacing structures 8 and 9? Well, if we use the slip and clip feature on this particular span, we can slip wire out of it and push it into the adjacent spans between structures 7 to 8 and 9 to 10. This, however, will cause tension imbalances and load changes on structures 8 and 9 that we'll want to check for, and we'll also need to check to make sure we don't cause a clearance violation in the adjacent spans as well. Before we do the slip and clip operation though, let's perform a quick structure check on number 9 so that we can compare the results before and after slip and clip. Here we see the structure utilization is 75.2%, and the deflection usage is 95.7%. Well, if we zoom in on the violation in the profile view, we can use the slip and clip command and start slipping some wire out of this span and pushing it into the adjacent spans until we see that the wire is no longer violating the clearances to that survey point. And now we can see that by shifting 0.8 feet of cable into the back span and 0.8 feet of cable into the head span, we have essentially fixed the clearance issue and did not have to modify the structures at all. We can then instruct a construction crew to open the clamps at structures 8 and 9 and pull the wire out of the span and put it into the adjacent spans. However, it is very important to check the structure's strength at every structure in the tension section, particularly 8 and 9, since this operation puts significant longitudinal load on the structures that it wasn't intended for or in the original design, and we need to make sure that the structures can withstand that. So if we run another structure check on number 9, we can see that it's okay and the usage actually went down a little bit since there was already a bit of tension imbalance there that we lessened. But we still want to check the other structures as well. Also important is to recheck all of the clearances because now we've introduced additional sag into those adjacent spans. But if we zoom in near these freeway survey points, we can see that the wire still has adequate clearance. We hope that you find this video and the new slip and clip feature helpful in future projects that require finite element modifications to wires for various tasks. Thank you for watching. If you'd like more information about our software, please see our website at www.powline.com. If you have any questions, please contact us at info@powline.com. If you'd like to receive a quote to purchase or renew your license, please contact us at sales@powline.com. And for any technical questions, please contact us at support@powline.com. Thank you for watching and your interest in our software, the industry standard in overhead line design.